the fall of the Umayyad Caliphate, all right? The fall of the Umayyad Caliphate is extremely important because this gets into the question that you're asking before of, are people becoming Muslim? Well, now some of the non-Arabs are becoming Muslim. Now you go through the Quran, if you read the Quran now, it's very much a universal claim of this faith for all peoples. And one of the things that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said in his farewell pilgrimage, he said the Arab is not better than the non-Arab is not better than the Arab, etc. It is only, to go back to what we were talking about, taqwa. That is reverence, God-fearingness that distinguishes one person from another or makes one person superior to another. Well, the Umayyads gave tremendous preference to the old Arab families. And this word, the converted Muslims, the mawali, which literally means like a client at the time, because even the way that the non-Arabs were conceptualized was as clients of the Arab tribes, that they were attached to the Arab tribes. A mawla is even the word for a freed slave. Mawla is a complex word, so I can't get into all of this, because mawla can also designate the slave owner. It just means two people that have a relationship, a contractual relationship like this. But anyways, so these converted Muslims, especially the Persians, are not being given full consideration within the empire, especially in the areas of the old Sassanid Empire. They feel that they are being unfairly taxed and not given proper services, taxation without representation, I guess, or taxation without full services. And so, but the other thing is that there's still a deep affection for the family of the Prophet among the Muslim peoples. And so you put all of these factors together, and there was a large uprising against the Umayyads that mostly came down from the area known as Khorasan, which is basically designates kind of northwestern Iran. So the large region of northwestern Iran, expanding all the way up into where it goes into what is today Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, and etc. This whole area is what you would call the Greater Khorasan. And so from this area, there spread a rebellion that came down and took the Umayyads by surprise. And it had a lot of people that were sympathetic to it because they also felt that they had been left out, and because there was still such strong sentiment for the family of the Prophet among, or what is called the Alids. That goes back to Ali ibn Abi Talib, all right? And this, again, is an important distinction. A lot of people think that when you talk about Ali ibn Abi Talib and the love for Ali ibn Abi Talib and his descendants, that it's confined to Shiites. Well, it's actually part and parcel of Sunni Islam as well. And it's felt that the Umayyads did not give proper respect to the family of the Prophet. So all of these forces conspired to bring about the Abbasid revolution. All right, now, the Abbasid Caliphate, let's quickly get to this first before we go back to that, all right? The Abbasid claim to authority. Here we see Abdul Muttalib, all right, and Abdullah, the father of the Prophet Muhammad, and then the Prophet, peace be upon him, and then Al-Abbas, who was an uncle of the Prophet. And so this is where you get the name, the Abbasids. And so they come down through this chain, right? And it's at this generation, Abul Abbas as-Saffah, he's called as-Saffah, which means the one who spills blood, because he brought all of the Umayyad leaders to a banquet. And the tale is that they were there to make peace after the overthrow and everything, and then he had them all slain right then and there, and he continued to eat his dinner as they bled out. And then they were rolled up in the carpets and disposed of. One, Abdul Rahman, is said to have escaped and to have fled to Spain, where he had the Ummayyad Caliphate in Spain that continued outside of Abbasid rule.